folks, Azure Cosmos DB TV. I'm Mark Brown. Episode 101. I'm just really happy to say that. And I'm really happy we've got Meredith Moore back with us today. Hi, Meredith. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Just enjoying another lovely day in Seattle here.
Hope you have your heat on.
Yeah, definitely burning some newspaper right behind me. You're going to talk about all the new stuff that we've been working on for the portal. And this is something that everybody touches, the portal, right? When you start with the product, you touch the portal. Even if you're an experienced user, you still touch the portal. It's a main experience for our customers. And we spend a lot of time and a lot of effort listening to what people are asking for, what they need, what they like, what they don't like. And then we're going to make that reality for them. And you're going to kind of give us kind of a recap on all the cool new stuff, as well as, I think, maybe show some stuff that maybe even some old seasoned veterans like myself would be like, hey, that's kind of handy in there as well. So, all right, well, let's get started. I know you wanted to kind of cover off on some topics here. So let's kind of go through the list and then let's dive right in.
Yeah, well, I think you summarized it well. We've gotten a lot of great feedback. Continue to send us that feedback. And we've got a lot of new improvements that are there to make your data management much more easier in Data Explorer and using the portal. So we're going to go through how you can change your capacity mode from serverless to provision. This is a new feature that came out this year. We've got some great new filtering features. So when you're reviewing your data in Data Explorer, we've got some new query view options. And if you haven't tried it already, we have Query Advisor, so you can write NoSQL queries using AI. We've improved our query error messaging, so you can easily debug your queries in Data Explorer. And then finally, we've got some great keyboard shortcuts that I'd love to show you. And so I think we could just get started right into a demo.
Let's do it.
This
is fun. Demo heavy.
Demo heavy.
The slide says demo overview. I love it. It's like we don't have to lay any foundation here. It's just let's just get straight to it. So
yeah.
Okay.
This is the only slide. Cool.
I like.
All right.
Those are my favorite words in the whole world. Do you know that?
All right, so I'm in the Azure portal here. I'm going to collapse my left nav. I'm in the overview blade, and I have a serverless account. So there's two capacity modes available. Most of you are probably aware of this. When you're creating your Cosmos DB account, you can choose serverless or provisioned. I chose serverless, when I'm creating a new project and I'm not quite sure what my transactional volume would be. If I want to do a prototype, it's a really cost-effective way to get started with Cosmos DB, and I pay for what I use. But it's also really flexible now that when I do have a good understanding of my transactional volume, I can really estimate my capacity needs accurately. Say I've been running this app for a little bit, and now I have that data. And I'm ready to migrate or change to the provision capacity mode. I can easily do this by selecting this button here and then just confirming, and I can migrate this account I have to this new capacity mode. I mean, you will have to set up your RUs and all of that, but hey, if you got that data and you know what you need, then you're good to go. So,
well, that's cool. So I don't have to put anything in there. That's just going to flip the mode over to auto scale and then just use the minimum throughput basically it's the minimum, if I'm not mistaken, the minimum amount based upon the amount of data you have in there, because that's going to determine the number of physical partitions that you've got, but it'll use the minimum amount necessary within there. And that's very cool. I noticed that you can't yet flip it back, but I know that we're working on that one too, right? So I'm guessing when we do that, we'll also have that available in the portal.
Yeah, so that's on the roadmap, and you notice I did this through the portal. You can also change this through the Azure CLI. And this is in preview right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And by the way, folks, everybody should start with serverless, right? Like, why wouldn't you? It's 25 US cents for 1 million reads. If you're running a query and it's 10 RU, that's 100,000 queries. You could do a lot, right? Or maybe 100,000 writes or 50,000 writes, but either way you look at it, that's a ton of stuff that you can do for like just 25 US cents. So very cool. And then flip the auto scale, ready to go. So, okay, what's next?
Yeah. All right, so we're here in Data Explorer. I'm going to maximize my working space here. I'm going to collapse some stuff here. And then if you've never used our full screen mode, you can do that here. Usually, if you haven't logged in already, it's going to ask you to log in again. It's its own application. So if you want to use Data Explorer like outside of the portal, really useful if you need to navigate through lots of resources within the portal and you don't want to lose some of your work, this is a great option for you.
And they can just go to that. That's what was the URL for
that? Cosmos.azure.com.
Okay, so you go to cosmos.azure.com. It's kind of your own standalone Data Explorer all by itself. No other Azure portal kind of nonsense or distractions in there. Just work with your data right in there. So that's cool. I don't know if a lot of people realize that's there. I kind of forget it is there from time to time. And I'm always annoyed at how much kind of just distraction and noise there is in there, because this is exactly what I want to see, is just this stuff right here. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's very cool.
All right. Cool. So I wanted to tell you a bit about and show you some of our keyboard shortcuts so that you can work with your data a lot easier. We do have keyboard shortcuts like Control-Shift-F that are going to open my apply filter. You know, if I want to add a filter, I could just hit enter and it's going to apply that filter. If I want to remove it, Control-Shift-C is just going to clear it.
Can you scroll in a bit on Zoom? I want to let people see. There you go. Yeah, get bigger, 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 bigger. Yeah, there you go. 150. There we go. Now people can see. Here, I'll make that even bigger. There we go. So, all right. So show Control F again. That was cool.
Sure. So if I want to open my filter window, Control-Shift-F is going to open this up. I can apply a default filter. We've got several new default filters here. Just select through Control arrow and then hit enter, and it's going to apply that filter to my data. Control-Shift-C is going to remove it. And now here you see, I've removed that filter. So just some ways to make it a little bit easier to navigate through your data here. And this was some feedback we received from some awesome customers who are really looking forward to having these keyboard
heavy keyboard users. They must be like old WordPerfect for DOS users.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not just limited to this. If you want to create something new, so Alt and I, that could create a new item, and I could just save it. So
wow, okay. You had the keyboard shortcut. Let me put this up while you're talking about that. So we've got a doc with all the new Data Explorer shortcuts in there. So AKA AMS, Data Explorer shortcuts. So if people want to go and take a look and see all the cool new shortcuts that are in there, they can go and do that.
Sure. And this is always
you got it right there too.
Yeah. Sorry.
You know what you need is a keyboard shortcut to open that link.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, so Control J is also going to open a new tab for you. So I'm here and I've collapsed this left nav as well. We did make some changes here so you can adjust the viewport screen. Again, we want to maximize your working space. So I'm just going to collapse that. But we've got some cool things here. If you haven't used our query advisor, Control P will enable that. You can write natural language queries. And we have got some samples for you here in the dropdown. So I'm just going to hit enter to execute this, to run the query. And so this uses AI in the back end. It understands the schema of NoSQL, understands your syntax, and it'll write queries for you using natural language. So this is like a really simple query, but anytime you're using AI, it's always a best practice to check the work before you execute anything. But our favorite shortcut here, and I'm sure this will be your favorite shortcut, is hitting F5, and that's just going to execute the query for you. It was a great query. And
I love it.
F5. A good result. Yeah.
I love it.
No longer will you hit the dreaded F5 and refresh your browser and lose your queries anymore. So if you don't want to use Query Advisor anymore, like Control P will just disable that and it removes it from the screen from you. So another cool thing I wanted to show is we added these viewport options, so you can view now your query window in vertical view. Yeah.
Oh my, that I did not know. I am totally shocked. This is great.
Yeah. So
God.
if you want to save this as your default, you'll go over into settings and you'll see here default query view, results view. You just change it to vertical and apply it.
Look at all the new stuff in there.
Oh, we've got a lot of new stuff in here.
Okay, I won't steal any more of your thunder. I'll let you get to it when
No, that's fine. That's a good segue to go in here. So yeah, we've got a lot of new things in here that have come out over the year. So enable intra ID RBAC. So this isn't a new feature for Data Explorer, but it is new here in the portal. So you can make these settings here. Automatic is just like if you don't have your keys-based authentication, if it's disabled, and it'll automatically use RBAC. True is like, I'm always going to use Enter ID. False is I'm always going to use my key-based authentication. I just want to call out, if you're changing things here, you might need to log in again. That does come through a pop-up. If you have pop-ups disabled or you didn't see it, a button will appear over here in the command bar for you to log in. So just wanted to make sure you don't overlook that. And then we always have notifications down here in this yellow bar. So in case we need to notify you with something, you'll find that info there. We also have this new RU limit, query timeout. Actually, I think I went to the wrong one. We got
query timeout right there. So what's this one do? Query timeout.
Hold on. So query timeout, this isn't a new feature, but with a specific, if it reaches a specific time limit, it's gonna cancel that query, but you have to enable that here.
Okay.
I think what I wanted to go through is RU limit. Yeah. Okay. So we have a new feature here that allows you to address when you have like a runaway query or mitigate running a really expensive query that's taking a lot of your RUs. So you can set an RU limit here and enable this. And then if the query running exceeds that, it'll automatically be aborted. So it's just really great. If you have a lot of users sharing your containers and running queries, that, you know, you're not having any runaways happening.
Got it. Okay. What else we got? You want to show some more stuff in there, or is there anything?
Yeah. This was all the new stuff that I had wanted to go through here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so clear history. What's the history thing? Hold on. I'll ask one more question.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Oh, you are? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking.
All right. So I wanted to take us back to filters to kind of walk through some of these new improvements that we've made here. One of the things that you were asking for, and we heard you, we know that you love filtering, you love default filters, and that you wanted to be able to access and save your filters. So we do have a filter history. So if I want to put a filter in here, contains name, let's say road. So this is something I'm like filtering on pretty frequently. And then I'll just Control-Shift-C to clear it. Oops. So I do have to clear the query window before I see any of my defaults again, but you can see in the filter history, you know, that's going to persist there, and that will stay there until I go into settings and clear my history. So yeah, so I'll have my filters in there. It'll also save my viewport settings, so my tab layout and my column preferences. And that's a great segue to talk about some of this new feature of custom columns. So you can adjust the views, sizes of all of these different columns. So by default, we always display the ID in your partition key, but we have this new feature here that allows you to add custom columns. So if I want to edit my columns, I can add any column that is a property in my data right now, or I can remove them. So maybe maybe it is really helpful for me to see the name and the price, and then I can save that. And I have these columns here every time I come back until I remove them or I clear that history, for me to easily go through and scan my data.
Is that per container?
This is per container, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect, since containers could have different types of data in there. But if you had multiple entities of the same data, I wonder what would happen.
Not sure.
I don't know. I should try that. All right, folks, you got an assignment. Go get a multi-entity container, put like a discriminator key in there, like a type or something like that, and then test this and see how it works. So,
Yes. So,
and then let us know what you think. If it works, let us know in the comments. So, or just hit me up on Twitter. It's fine. This is cool. I did not know this was there. Wow. So
yeah,
very, very cool.
If I want to reset and go back to default, I just hit reset and save. And now it's just my ID and partition key. And again, like I mentioned, these will persist, these columns that you select. So you can just clear your history if you no longer, that's another simple way to like reset as well.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah. Okay. Exciting.
So I thought I could jump into container settings and just show some other new features that are available in preview. So we do have the ability to change your partition key. So it does require you to create a new source container, but now you're not locked into that partition key anymore. You do have that option to be able to change it. It is performed through a copy. There are some limitations in here, and we do have some docs for you to kind of review those limitations before you start using it. But I think this is a much needed feature that many people have been asking for. It makes your data modeling strategy much easier with the flexibility now that you can change something in the future if needed.
Oh my God. Yes. The big red easy button for changing your partition key, right? Like, folks, we used to make you like create like an Azure function using change feed and copy your stuff into a new container. Not an awesome experience. That's just that big red easy button. I'm just going to push it and let the service take care of it. So this is really cool. Nice, right there in the portal. So love it. New stuff in there. I see something new in there I've never seen before. Yes,
we have computed properties. So if, let's say, for my products that I had there, if I wanted to calculate, the cost and quantity of different orders and particular items, I can calculate this dynamically and then, use this in my queries. You can only have 20 of these per your container, but this is a really great feature. And so I can have this data and not necessarily store it in my database, but be able to use it in my queries as well.
Oh, it's stored. It's actually there. In fact, it's indexed as well, which is why it's even much more cooler than just like a volatile in-memory thing. So you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. In fact, we had James on a few months ago, talked about this thing. But this thing, I love the computer properties is one of those things. I've been waiting for years for that thing. And it's a killer feature for sure. You can do some really cool stuff with that. Just basically materializing things like aggregates or doing lowercase on stuff or just mutating data and then just index it. And then it's fully there in your query. This is cool. And I love that it's right here in the portal as well. So yay. I'm excited. We've got
And I just wanted to call out that we're actually in the cosmos.azure.com. So like you could do all of this in the portal. You can do all of this here as well. So for my last thing, I'm going to jump back over to the portal and my screen. Okay. And go over into networking settings. So there's been some backend changes recently in the portal, and just wanted to call this out for folks who are setting up like IP access control policies and they're using specific networks. We don't want you to lose access to specific blades in your Cosmos DB account in the portal. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you add your Azure portal middleware IPs. You can add or remove them with just a click of the button, but just wanted to call that out here. This is really important, especially for those who have accounts that are using the API for MongoDB or Cassandra, because you won't be able to access Data Explorer. If you're having NoSQL accounts, there's some blades that you won't be able to access, like Browse or Power BI and Synapse. So,
got it. So to be clear, the portal middleware IPs is the IP addresses that our Azure portal is hosted on in Azure in a bunch of data centers and clouds all over the world, right? So, and so let me explain this, I guess. So, Azure portal is a website, right? it's got an IP address, and you're setting up network policies, firewall rules in there that ostensibly you turn that thing on, you can block everything in there unless it's coming through a VNet or a service endpoint or whatever. That include, and also other data centers and other public services. So you had that one option in there to let other stuff from services and data centers access that. But then there's the portal IPs as well, and you need to let those in. So it looks like what you guys have done is, well, let me put it this way. In the olden days, which has been like 3 weeks ago, I guess, you had to go to that doc and grab all the portal IPs and then shove them in your IP firewall policy. And then those were your portal IPs. Now what you're saying is you've made that just a single click in there. And it looks like you're adding the correct portal IPs, right? That depended upon the cloud they're in. Yeah, those are the public portals. So there's a bunch of them. There's like China Cloud and Fairfax or the Gov Cloud and whatever. All these, there's a whole bunch of different ones, or range of them. So you guys are basically doing it smart, where you're adding in the correct ones based upon the customer's account and where they're at. So that's very cool. I like it. Thanks for making that way easier for folks, because I know people were confused, like, wait a minute, I have to go and grab all these IP addresses.
Yeah.
I actually wrote PowerShell and CLI scripts for customers that were annoyed about that. They're like, I want to be able to add and remove these things and do them like easily. Like, how can I do it? And I'm like, here, let me write you a script. So I wrote a script. I said, oh, and the other reason they wanted is they were trying to manage it over like hundreds of accounts. They're like, dude, I am not going into every hundreds of these accounts and then click all these things in here. And I said, hold on, I'm gonna make that easy for you. So I wrote a script that just ripped through every Cosmos account in their subscription, like all 100 something of them, and then did all this, and it could add them and remove them in there based upon what they were doing. So anyway, I think they still may need my script because they still have accounts. Like, this makes it easier on the per account level, doing it at the hundreds of account level. Just hit me up on Twitter. I'll give you my script.
You heard it. Mark will give you the script.
I'll give you the script.
I'll leave you to it. I just wanted to call out, if you're using the legacy portal middleware IPs, you will see an option here to remove the legacies, and you can add the new ones.
There you go. Got it. Okay. Oh, so good. So you can clean up as well. So people have already been doing that. You can clean them up and then re-add in the correct ones, or the ones that you
Yeah. We just don't see it here because I don't have them. But
that is cool. Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I have for you. We kind of walked through a lot of different new features that are available in the portal that are going to help you make your data management easier. Loved hearing and reading your feedback. You can provide feedback within the portal through any of these little feedback icons where you see give feedback. You might see smiley faces, and any one of these blades, you can reach out to us. Or in the full screen, we have a little smiley here. You can send us an email with your feedback as well. But yeah, I encourage you to play around, let us know what you think, and check out the docs and share feedback.
Yeah, I put some links up while you were talking there. So I know we've got the Cosmos Network portal settings. That's your blog post that just got published here. So what is it? End of October 2024. So blog post just went up this week. with all those new settings that you just showed in there with the portal IP addresses and making that a whole lot easier. I then put in, just prior to that, all the Cosmos Explorer docs. This is a great place to start, and it's got a whole bunch of other links to other docs in there, including the keyboard shortcuts within there. And then I think you had this other one, Data Explorer Manage. Oh, this was the delete multiple items. We didn't show that one.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, this is so cool. This is like the #1 feature, I think, this ask.
Yeah, so you might have noticed here that we have these nice little checkboxes. So previously, one at a time, you used to have to select an item to delete it, but now you can select multiple items. You can use a keyboard shortcut or click the button here and delete all of these 100 items that I've selected here. If you want to select more than 100, you just load more. It loads 100 more at a time to select more.
By the way, it does hit the RU limit in there. So when you have the RU limit set, this actually happened to me because I had about 300 items in a collection, and I was just testing data loading, and I didn't, whatever. I just wanted to use the portal because I like this feature actually a lot. And I would just select all of it, and then I'd run delete, and it's like, oh, sorry, 429. I only deleted like, I don't know, a couple hundred of them this time. But whatever, I just refresh and then run it again.
That is true. That can happen. We do notify you if we can't continue.
No, but it tells me like, I selected 200 of them. Like, hey, we deleted 150 of them in there. So at least I know I had some left, and then I just refresh, select that all again, and then hit delete again, and then boom, they're gone. So so at least it's telling me and talking to me and telling me, hey, most of them didn't get all of them. Here's how many you got left. I love this feature.
I'm glad you like it. Yes, it was one of the.
It's not just me. Everybody loves that feature. I know for sure. So
and on the note of 429s and notifications, we have made some improvements onto the query error messaging. So we're providing some indicators of where the errors occur in your query and how to fix them as well. So let us know how you like those improvements too.
Yay. That's very cool. Oh, so much stuff. I can't believe this is great. It just keeps getting better and better. I know new vector indexing policies, I think, also popping in as well in the settings tab in there. So if you're using the vector indexing policy, those will show up. I don't think you had it in there. But if you had vector indexing policy, it would show up in there. Also the vector container policy. There's also there's an index, and then there's a container policy itself. So all that stuff I've seen lit up in there as well. Hierarchical partition keys, if you're using those show up in there as well. Just all kinds of great stuff within there. So it's good. I love it, and people definitely love it. And I'm excited. They give us all this feedback, and then we're like, okay, let's do it.
And I guess I can share some of the things that are on our roadmap. We're looking at implementing dark mode. We want to help out with you not losing your queries anymore, and we're working on a session history. So some IntelliSense improvements and enhancing saved queries. We also want to provide some more download options for your data sets. So when you run a query and you've got your data, being able to download it in different option. So I don't have dates to share with you for all of this, but just wanted to share that these items are on our roadmap.
Stuff on your radar.
Yeah.
All cool stuff. And again, all right, let me put this back up. If you want, there's that little smiley face at the top right. So just if you got feedback, just click the smiley face. Even if your face isn't smiling, click it and give us feedback. Tell us hey, I could use this feature. I want to make it better. Oh, there's the other, the big one right there for at the home of the Data Explorer. Just click that. That goes straight to Meredith and her whole team that run all this stuff on our portal experience and our Data Explorer. And let us know. It was basically that button right there and all these other inputs that drove us making all this stuff and making all this improvements. So
we love connecting with our users. So feel free to reach out.
Yep. Fantastic. Meredith, it's great having you on. Thanks for showing just fun stuff. This was a great show. I like it. It's like a demo cornucopia. I'm going to use a really dumb word, but it's almost November. So that's like cornucopia season almost, right? So I'm going to use that word. It's a jack-o'-lantern of good stuff. That's maybe a better word. It's Halloween 2 days. So, all right. Thanks for joining us, Meredith. Come on back when you got more stuff. I know users are going to love it. And thank you, folks, for joining us this week. Episode 1-on-1. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with more shows. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.
See you next time. Bye.